Good morning to you. Welcome in on this Tuesday. It is the 9th day of November for 2021. Just in case you haven't had a chance yet, to get your bearings, get started this morning, rolling forward into what promises to be another really, really nice day. I don't know about you. This is one of my favorite times of the year. I really, really like when fall finally arrives. It takes its time coming to Southeast Texas. There are many years that you don't really appreciate cool weather until you get deep into November. This year, we kind of, it's not cold, but cool and certainly comfortable. You get up in the morning, it's very pleasant to get out, maybe have a cup of coffee out on the back porch or the front porch if you have the opportunity. And certainly lunch today, if you're going to have it, might not be a bad idea if you can find a patio somewhere, one of those dining areas outside. Good morning to you. I'm Dan Gresham. Welcome into my house. Hence, we call this Dan's at-home update, not in a studio. This is not a newscast. This is casual conversation between you and me. And we do it a couple of ways. A, by, of course, Facebook Live. But B, the fact that you can weigh in on any comment you want, any topic you want. You can just say good morning. You can tell me where you're watching from. You can tell me what you think about the weather. It's all fair game. All you have to do is comment just like you would on any other Facebook post. I can see them and read them at the bottom of the screen. I can see Maria's up this morning. Nina is too. Linda Zachary is here. David Peru, good morning to you. Loretta. Hi, Loretta. And Carlene, all up and going this morning. So if you want to add your name to the list, and again, if you just want to say where you're watching from, what's going on in your world, I'd love to hear from you. A couple of housekeeping notes first. Want to apologize again. I know a lot of people have asked, what happened? How come the morning show is out of its standard format? Again, we are dealing with some technical issues that are beyond our control after a ransomware attack on our parent company. We're doing the best we can to restore all the things, but I don't know if you're familiar, but it takes time. It's not easy, and we're trying to get around a lot of issues. So it's not just the morning show that's affected, it's everything that's affected. And yes, I know, you're not happy when you see a show that's repeated, or you go to catch a show on KFDM or Fox 4 and you're like, that's not the show that's supposed to be here, or I've already seen this show. We're very aware. We're working very hard. We apologize for any inconvenience to you, but we're trying to do our best to make sure that we get things back in order as quickly as possible. And we promise that we are definitely working on it. Hi, Loretta. Good morning to you. As I said, Carlene's up. Joetta is here this morning. Hi, Dorothy. So is Linda Zachary. And you're right. It is an absolutely gorgeous day across Southeast Texas. And you know what? Today is going to be, I don't know if you saw Chad this morning, but he said today is going to be a little bit different than what we've seen over the last several days, where you couldn't find a cloud in the sky. You could go look, but it just wasn't there. You're going to see him today. On the way home from the studio, already noticed a little bit more hazy. It's not going to be dark clouds like, any moment the sky's going to open up. It's just going to be one of those days that we have a few clouds here and there. And as you can see in the forecast, that continues right on into Wednesday, where late Wednesday trends into Thursday, and Thursday morning, best chance of rain this week is going to occur. And it's about 60% coverage, but you see what happens after the rain clears out. We go from, 64 for the overnight low to 45 for the overnight low, and then, 46, and then it creeps up. But look at Saturday. To me, that's just about a perfect day. 46, 66. Yeah. Get out and enjoy it in the morning, a little chilly, but in the afternoon, do the work around the house or whatever you've got to do and not have to worry about breaking a major sweat if you want to do that. All right, we're going to check on some things. Of course, the purpose of our at-home update is to be able to let you know what's going on, give you 5 things that are happening in our community that maybe you missed along the way, but you'll be well armed as you get out into this Tuesday. Ask a favor. If you appreciate what you see, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it because it goes a long way towards A, showing the bosses that we're at home doing some work, and B, analytics. It's part of our life. It's how things are disseminated and passed around on Facebook. The more likes you have, the more likely you are to be able to be on others' screens when they sign in. All right. So if you don't mind, just real quick, thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. And again, continue to comment if you'd like as well. All right, let's get into some of the stories of the day this morning. We're going to start things off at kfdm.com. That's really where we're going to stay, but a really, really heartbreaking story. You know, you always ask yourself, and TxDOT has a campaign going on. It's been like 20 years since the state of Texas has had one day where we did not have traffic or accident fatality, something that killed someone on a highway. 20 years. And some of them seem so senseless, and this may be one of them. Beaumont police releasing the names of a driver and a passenger killed when another driver in a pickup truck going the wrong way on MLK. We're talking about this is a 6-lane thoroughfare. And a person is going the wrong direction. Now, contributing factors. This happens at 2:13 a.m., 2:30 in the morning. Two things happen at 2:30 in the morning. Well, a lot of things happen at 2:30 in the morning. But if you drive that time, which some of us do on a regular basis, you know there are just some places you want to avoid, some things you want to avoid. And let's face it, who is out at 2:30 in the morning? Generally speaking, it's people who've been somewhere else and they're on their way home. And they're on their way home from having a good time. And many times they're behind the wheel when they shouldn't be. And this apparently is one of those cases. Let's go back to the story. And if we continue to read, you'll see the victims involved in this deadly crash Sunday morning. 19-year-old Clyde Thompson and 19-year-old Tanshay Smith. And it's my understanding they're both Lamar University students. That's the heartbreaker. These are 19-year-old kids, young adults, in fairness to them, young adults who were minding their own business, driving the right direction. And apparently, as you would have guessed, alcohol was a part of the equation. Yeah. Chevrolet truck crashed head-on into the Nissan Altima. Driver died at the scene. Passenger transported to the hospital. Later died as a result of her injuries. Driver transported to the hospital to be treated. Alcohol believed to be a contributing factor. So many things that you can take away from that, right? So many things that you can take away from that. Keep that story in mind today as you go about. Again, be thinking about the Lamar University family and then the families of those individuals as well. Also this morning, another family is hurting. This one, the family of Christy Russo, last seen in Jasper County. And it's been a while. I mean, she was last seen on October the 21st. So they're very concerned that, you know, the family members say at this point, they really believe either she is dead and they just don't know it, and or she has been taken captive, or she has been whatever. They suggested, you know, trafficking. And we don't, none of us want to believe that's possible in Southeast Texas, but certainly it is. So again, if you have the opportunity at the time, you might want to check, look at this story. Also, a GoFundMe account has been created by the family because they are trying to raise enough money that maybe they can hire a private detectives. Also this morning, if you're getting ready, starting to think about holiday shopping, local small businesses say, get after it. They say they have the inventory. At this point, they're not saying how long they will have the inventory, but at this point, they do have the inventory. We spoke with a couple of those businesses yesterday. They're saying to them, they're just happy to see a surge of customers. because a year ago, there were a lot of people who just were not getting out shopping at all. And the businesses that we spoke with said, hey, people are back. The question is, how long are we going to have something to sell them? And we've all heard and seen the stories about supply chain issues, right? So it's no different here than it is around the rest of the country. Also, again, just to make you aware, this is KFDM.com, great source for local information. Oh, I wanted to show you just a couple other things real quick before we run out of time. This is one of them. Do you see this? We all knew it was going to be happening. SpaceX, their ship was going to be making a return, and it was going to be, a lot of people were saying, hey, if you live along the Gulf Coast, you can go outside tomorrow night. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to hear it. It'll make a sonic boom. Really wasn't true, because the path of the vehicle, of the spaceship, was much further south over the Gulf of Mexico, which was perfect for guys who were working offshore. And this is some video that Jamie Lloyd captured, who was working about 120 miles offshore. We'll have to watch the ad here for a second. This is how it works. You know that. You got to pay for everything. So we run an ad, a brief ad, then you'll be able to watch the video if you go to KFDM.com, and you'll be able to see what Jamie saw. And a lot of his other workmates saw the same thing. Obviously, you can hear the ocean in the background, but you can also hear the SpaceX spaceship going across there. Pretty cool. But again, something that you needed to be offshore, and to some degree, I think, have the benefit of not having the light noise that you would probably have if you were back here. All right, going to finish up this morning. I got one more thing I want to show you before we go. Let me cancel that one out there. Okay, one more thing I want to show you before we go this morning. If for folks who are scuba divers, who are maybe just interested in the ocean and climate in general, you have probably heard of the flower gardens. And if you haven't, you should. I bring this up because Texas Monthly has a terrific in-depth article about these beautiful coral reefs that are located just off of Galveston. Let me show you some pictures. This is from Texas Monthly. And again, this is just one of the shots, but it's called Behind the Fight to Save the Gulf's Spectacular Coral Reefs. This is Julie Burwald, and Julie is somewhat of an expert herself. She has been a science writer, among other things, and has spent a number of years now talking and researching, and I think compiling a book about reefs around the world. And, you see there, she says, spent the past 3 years traveling to reefs from the Dominican Republic to Indonesia. She said, I left this story, the one closest to home, unexplored. But on January the 19th, the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary came back to her attention. So she decided to go. And the photos that are taken are just spectacular. You learn the story of how these coral reefs, and there's the location, there would be Galveston, or you could go Crystal, right? Or Sabine Pass. Back in the day, probably 20 years ago now, KFDM produced a special on the flower gardens. I wish I could, I know I have a copy of it. I need to go back and watch it, but it was very well done, was award winning. But it just speaks to, the history of the flower gardens. It's not easy to get there. It's going to take you more than a few hours. And because of that, it is not really that trafficked by people who are just recreational divers, because you've got to be willing to make the effort to get there. But look at that. I mean, that's the stuff you expect to see maybe on the Great Barrier Reef, but we have it just off the coast of Texas. It's a great story, and you can see what I'm saying when I'm talking about in depth. It really is nice to see people working where they don't feel like it has to be something that people can read in 2 minutes. This is an investment in your time, but I promise it'll be worth it. Again, Texas Monthly, and their story on the flower gardens off the coast of Galveston and right here off the coast of Southeast Texas. Go and check it out for yourself. Again, appreciate your time today. I want you to go out and make it a terrific day. Again, if you get a chance, let's say hi this morning to, gosh, I'm trying to see who else has joined us this morning. Oh, Lucille Mill, fishermen in our area like fishing at the flower gardens. Yes, they do, because there are a lot of fishes out there this morning. All right. So anyway, thumbs up. Appreciate it. Go out and make it a terrific day. We'll look forward to seeing you back here bright and early tomorrow morning, of course. We'll also remind you a lot of ways to keep up with what's going on across Southeast Texas. On Facebook, KFDM News, the websites, KFDM.com, Fox4Beaumont.com, Twitter, Morning TV, Dan. Also, YouTube. If you want to follow these updates, you can do so. Just subscribe. Dan's at Home. Look forward again seeing you tomorrow. Go out. Have a terrific day.